day I drove to the shipper. But then on the way, I ended up having a family emergency. Told them, hey, look, I need to drop this load off and then I need to head home because, you know, I got a family situation going on. I get to the shipper, they tell me, well, the load's late, so you can't take it to Monday. Today is, I think, Tuesday. So I'm like, okay. So I call my DM. He says, well, I'm going to call you back. We need to figure out what we're going to do. I hadn't heard from him. It's 9 o'clock at night. I hadn't talked to him. Last time I talked to him was 10:30 this morning. Haven't heard from him. They've been sending messages through the tablet. They haven't answered their phone. I tried calling the company. I think they blocked my number because I've been trying to call them, and when I call, I can't get through. So I had my wife call them, and when my wife called, I was able to get through. So after sitting out there, I left there around 5 or 6. After sitting out there, I just left and came to the closest pilot, and from there, I'm leaving the truck here. I'm gonna leave the truck here, I'm gonna put the key somewhere, and I'm heading home. And I won't be back. Western Express is the worst company ever. Hands down. On a scale of 1 to 10 for worst company, I give them a 20. They are bad. They are disorganized. They don't value their drivers. They're out of order. They take forever to fix things. They lie. The recruiting office lie.
Yeah, let me put the brakes on this. I'm sorry I had to come back. Alright. This is part 2, I guess. I had to shift from the living room back into my mom's room, so, you know. Let me tell you probably the most important thing you might want to worry about. I'm talking about those y'all who might be new to this company or maybe you haven't been through this. You know, I've been with them for 3 years, but it's more like, let me tell you what you got to worry about up front after you pass the driving, well, not the driving test. After you get hired, like after you get off a Greyhound bus, you better make sure you carry some extra cash with you, because you know what? The way this guy sounds, it seemed like he could have wound up dead. The rest of y'all, you better carry some extra cash with you. You know, like quit getting broke and quit doing stuff you shouldn't be doing before you get a job like this. Stash some money. You don't need that much. You know, get at least carry $100 with you when you get off a bus, because one thing I did experience, I don't like the food that they serve in orientation. It tastes like shit in the worst way. I have to complain about it. The only thing that's probably not so bad is the fried eggs and the cereal a little bit. I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding. Excuse me, man. How the hell are you getting here? I guess I was blindsided. She must have came in here when my mom was out. My mom was in here. I didn't see that one, man. I'm sorry. That's not supposed to happen. Like I was saying. Where was I? Yeah, just like when I first started with FFE, right? Back in August of 2001. Yeah, my mom gave me, what, $100? And you know what? Yeah, I mean, when I first went to truck driving school, Bearcat truck driving school in Weatherford, Texas, yeah, I was almost secured. I was close to being somewhat left for dead, but I was secured compared to most of the other students. The other ones, they did have some kind of money on them, but my mom, she gave me, like back in 2001, she gave me $100 before I hit the Greyhound bus, right? Yeah, before I hit the Greyhound bus in Fort Lauderdale back in 2001. Yeah, she gave me $100 to carry. And let me tell you something about the process of being a truck driver. It's like you're not gonna eat healthy at all. You're not gonna see any salad or fruit or nothing, none of that. You're gonna be eating hamster food. You're gonna be treated like a dog. You're gonna be kicked around like one. And that's very dangerous to your health. We're living human beings here. We're not animals. And at one point, when I was in that lease purchase truck, let me show it to you again, since I can't tell which side of the which side of the website this video might go. When I was lease purchasing that truck, I told myself, when I was meditating on something, while I'm here driving with the steering wheel, I said, we're nothing but horses pulling a carriage. That's what it is. I think when I was walking away from that truck to go inside the dispatch office to get some kind of load assignment or something, when I was walking to the dispatch office and coming back to the truck, I said, we're just horses pulling the carriage. We're just horses pulling the carriage. That's a carriage right there. That's a carriage with 10 wheels on it. And this right here, which is one of us. That's who we are. That's what it is. That's what it's really about. Especially with a regular truck company, it's even worse. If it was like owner operator, maybe I would have to say in my case, own authority, since I'm so hooked on it. I haven't started yet. Since I'm so hooked on trying to be own authority. It's more like I wouldn't be too much of a horse drawn car. It's still the same thing. You're making a living driving a commercial vehicle. OTR. This is not local. This is not a local semi. This is a conventional tractor with 10 wheels. I guess it is 17-inch roof. So this is strictly 48 states. This is a 48 state truck. That's what I would like to call it. International. Not international. When I say international, I mean, like across a continent. Those trucks were designed to go across a continent. That's the reason why they look like that. That's not a day cab. So you are considered somewhat kicked around and brutalized when you're in the hands of another. But when you go in your own authority and you have that and you choose to go in that direction, yes, you could say you're a king on top of a mountain, so to speak. It's not really a clean job, but yes, you do get a lot of benefits if you was to go on authority. I haven't gotten a chance to start yet, but me being 52, most of my life, 21 years went to waste. But I would say my most important experience is I landed on one of the best trucks in my entire life. I'm not saying I like Western Express, I don't. I'm just saying I landed on a 2021 Cascadia, brand new, untouched, with 35 miles. I think it's 27 miles. And I would say my most important part of the trucking experience being working for a company is I got lease purchase experience or some kind of background owner operator experience. It's too bad I didn't get a chance to get the truck, but I'm not worrying about that. Because while I was stuck in it, I said to myself, it's too late. I already started a chain reaction. I might as well try and finish it. finishing it wasn't really a good idea either. I tried to pull away from it and go into a rental right there on the spot. I actually used that same 11107 Cascadia, and I actually took that to a Hertz rental, and I said, how much does it cost to rent a truck per month? And they gave me runarounds, and I couldn't reach nowhere. So I started, I didn't go to Freightliner. I went on my cell phone inside of that truck and I asked Freightliner, how do I get qualified, or how do I finance a used truck? Like, can I get a 21 Cascadia exactly like this one so I can buy from you guys? And they said it's more complicated. It's worse. You're telling me that the used trucks are more expensive than the new ones. Like this one is like $155 or some $1,000, and the Freightliner, another 21 Cascadia exactly like that would cost it will cost $200,000 used. A used truck would cost $200,000. That's what Freightliner in Utah and Freightliner in Texas and everywhere said. Because of the DEF pump, not the DEF pump, some kind of shortage going across the U.S. The DEF pump is a part of it because I told you about that one. That's what landed me in the shop, and that's why I lost a couple of months with no paycheck, 0 paychecks. So I'll say, you know what, my best advice, if you don't have no real experience lease purchasing, do not touch those trucks. Be a company driver like what I did. Let me tell you what I did. When I was stuck in that 17 Volvo, which I wanted to keep, the one that they pulled me out of, the 2017, the one that never gave me any problems, I stashed away about $16,000 being a company driver. I didn't touch it really. And then I moved into this one, and then I wanted to buy it, so I took a chance with that. But I didn't get a chance to finish the $16,000 and go up. But yes, as I started feeling my way out, I did knock out a few $2,000 paychecks like 4 or 5 times. And that was it. About 5 times. The rest of them, a couple of hundred, 1,000 there. And then after that, maybe 14 or 1,500. I did max out a little bit over $2,000 5 times. I had to plan my own counterattack. My own routine. I didn't use the right phrase. But that is, you're staring at a lease purchase truck on a laptop. It's no different. It's still the same company truck. This dumbass. Yo man, somebody's calling me on the phone. I ain't gonna worry about it. That is a company truck, all right. It's considered lease purchase because I moved into that department. So I'm using a company truck that I'm buying. So I had to pay for the fuel, the tires, or whatever. As you can see, the evidence, I'm going to show it to you again. I know I did this before. That black section you see below that gray bumper, that's an airflow deflector. I put that on there. I paid for that. And that gray bumper, which looks original with the truck, you could say it's the same exact thing that Western Express had on their truck. It's not exactly the same thing, really. It's another bumper that's exactly like the original thing, but it has air dam holes in it. That's the reason why that airflow deflector was on there. So I had to buy another bumper and another air dam. I had to buy the airflow deflector, plus I had to buy another bumper to match it, because Western Express, their bumpers don't have air dam holes, so you cannot add an airflow deflector on their truck. You'd have to remove it and replace it with a different one. So anyways, all I could say is that it seemed like at the beginning, let me just say this, try and carry a couple of $100 or at least $100 with you. Try and buy your own food. Like, if you're fixing to go for breakfast, get out the hotel, go to a restaurant, and eat some decent food. Seriously, when I first became a truck driver, I went to Bearcat Truck Driving School in Weatherford, Texas. And my mom gave me $100 and I took the Greyhound bus. And when I got out, when I was there, me and the students was in that one of them Ford Aeromax semi tractor trailers. It was a Freightliner FLD or one of them classic ones. And it was a 1995 Ford Aeromax. I remember that. And it was a full 18-wheel truck, all right, both of them. So when we got out in the hot sun in Texas in the summer of 2001, yes, I had money. We all climbed out the truck and we went in the convenience store. Some of us bought cigarettes and all that, and I got me a snack. And there was times, yes, when we had to go back to headquarters, like go back to the trucking school, the bunkhouse. We went to the bunkhouse. All they ever served us was dry cereal, like Fruit Loops and Raisin Bran and, snack cakes. I said, nah, I can't live like this. But anyways, we couldn't do anything about it. You can't leave the bunkhouse and go strolling down the road and then go to a convenience store. Nah, we had to stay in the bunkhouse. The bunkhouse was like a farm. It had horses behind the fence. That's Bearcat Truck Driving School. But anyways, I passed it. I went through it. I might have got brutalized a little bit, but I went through it. Yeah, we all had to bunch up in the same spot, man. It's like there was bunk beds inside of the... There was bunk beds in the training headquarters. Yes, it's like I had to sleep in a room with a bunch of guys and we had to eat out in the cafeteria. It wasn't really a cafeteria. It's like one of them 2-story house-looking buildings, like in the countryside. It looks like a farm or something. It is scary. You could tell by the way I sound. I'm not telling a lie. Yeah, I went through that. But the thing is, before you ever start in any truck company, try and bring at least $100 or more. This way, it's better off you buy your own food, and not only that, bring extra money for yourself so you can pay for your own room. If you're gonna stay in the same hotel because they have to bring the shuttle bus to that particular hotel that they want you to stay in. You see, if you're gonna stay in a shitty ass hotel like the one in Nashville, if you could find a way out, and if you want to camp out in a better, decent one, you could do that. If you got enough money to pay for the taxi cab, make sure you get the cab driver to take you to the Western Express terminal so you can go for orientation. You don't have to be on the bus. Yo, man, sucker punch him. Sucker punch him. You at least think smart. Because what I did when I was in that truck and I had to go in the Western Express shop, to knock out a few parameters like, how to use the cruise control and all that. They said that they were going to send it to Freightliner to do some kind of check on it. And the mechanic guy is asking me if I want to, go to the hotel, just leave right now. I said, no, I ain't touching the shuttle bus and I'm not going to touch your hotels. And he said, that's cool. Do what you got to do. And you know what? I went in my own direction because, like I said, I stashed away like $16,000 on the other truck and I brought it and I moved it on to this one. I still had money in the bank. I had like, I don't know, probably 17 or 18 after that. I don't remember. But it's like I had X amount of money in the bank and I went ahead and paid for a cab. I went ahead and paid for a Best Western in Nashville. And I treat myself like a king. I dare not want to let something in charge of that touch me or, govern my ship. You know what I'm saying? Stay the hell away from them, man. I mean, if you can't do nothing about it, yes, you're gonna have to put up with it, because that's what I did. When I first went there, yes, I had to stay in a nasty room with people hanging their underwears, washing their clothes in the sink. I went to, you really think I'm lying? They were washing their clothes in the sink because they couldn't find a washing machine nearby or something. Yeah, I had to do the same thing. I had to wash my socks and everything and my shirt in the sink when I was on orientation the last time. When when I applied for this job, I had to do it too, because I didn't have no bag to carry, so I had to use a duffel bag. I had to carry a few clothes. But yeah, if you're going to land in a bad one, carry a couple of $100. Carry at least $200 with you. But the hotel, I would say, if that doesn't bother you, if their nasty hotel don't bother you, go for it. You do what you gotta do. Go for it. Just save that money for something better. Like, try not to be diving into that kind of eating, all of that dry food stuff. Go for something natural and treat yourself right. Because after you get into them trucks, you're probably gonna get kicked around even worse. Let me tell you something else. One time when I was on a 2017 Volvo, I'm gonna tell you another horror story. Like what this guy right here is saying. You see how he's complaining about his side? Alright, I'm not exactly complaining about my side, but I'm gonna tell you one or two incidents I already ran into with another company driver. A situation, not an incident. Situation. One time, let me see if I can remember. I think I was driving through West Virginia around maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. And when I pulled up in this rest area, I pulled up next to another Western Express truck. This was on the Volvo, right? Not that new Cascadia. And this dude, you could see him crying. And I mean, not only that, he climbed out of his truck and walked up next to my driver's side. And he kept saying, please, could you just help me? Could you help me? He sounded like he's ready to cry, man. He looked like he's ready to commit suicide. I'm freezing cold. I can't. I didn't, he said, his truck cut off on him. He said that his truck cannot start. And he slept in a deep freezing temperature overnight. So I had to let him in my truck, like in the passenger side. You should see his hands over the air vent. He said you see him sticking his hands over the air vent trying to warm up. And he said, I guess he said Western Express couldn't come out there and get him. I saw this one in person. Now you hear him. He's over here saying the same thing. I saw that one in person. Yo, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not just seeing this on the laptop computer on YouTube. I saw it in person also. Different ones. Different people. I seen them suffer. You see, I kept myself away from all of this. I kept myself safe. I'm not saying I had it all that smooth, but most of the way, yes, I did. I had it easy. I had to. Because I'm serious about planning my counterattack before I dive into a truck company. I'm not new to this. I started out with FFE, then K&B Transportation, and then what's the next one? USA Truck in Arkansas. It's not Little Rock. It's Van Buren, Arkansas. And what else? Navajo Trucking. It's actually Disco, DSCO. DSCO as in disco, linked to Navajo. I was working for Disco, but I pulled Navajo's trailers in Denver, Colorado. And then after that, what came next? A couple other random select owner-operator truck companies while I was homeless outside. I didn't have no choice to go that way. Then after that, then finally Western Express again. Well, not finally Western Express. Another regular truck company. So I landed on Western Express, and that was my last one. But the thing is, all I could say is the way I jumped from one company to the next, I don't recall being kicked around that bad anymore. Western Express, I landed on probably one of the worst ones. Like I said on the first video before this one, I came out of a trainer's truck, and when I went into that 2017, I never once stalled or broke down. I always dive into the shop on time when I see something wrong with a truck, and I never broke down. And that truck was decent. It was well kept. It was like spotless. Everything was working. Now, I stayed away from that. I mean, picking a bad truck. My trainer gave me 2 different truck numbers when I first came off his truck 3 years ago. He gave me 5320 and some other international truck number. I went for the Volvo because not only the Volvo looks better and feels better, I could tell by looking at the international it's not comfortable. And I was right, it's not. Because I just drove 2 different internationals. Like when this Cascadia, hold on for a second. When this Cascadia right here went in the shop like 2 or 3 times, I took a chance with a loaner. I borrowed a loaner. And just about every step of the way, both of them felt like trash. The internationals, they feel like trash. And it seemed like the second one was a little bit better, but they feel like trash when you drive it. This smooth like a limousine. It's smooth like a, I don't know how to describe it. It feels more like you don't feel no weight in the steering wheel or nothing. Everything is like easy to do. But the thing is, it's like, always prepare yourself, man. If you ever run into a problem, complain. Don't just sit there and wait for somebody to clean your ass. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna leave you for dead. I told you what happened already. I've seen it in person, and now I'm seeing him. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm really saying the right things in order, but it seemed like I got a lot of stuff going on inside of my head. I'm trying to dish out, but anyways, all of what I told you, it's actually true. Coming into truck driving school and all that, when it comes to starting this kind of business, being a company driver and working for a truck company, yes, you need to prepare yourself ahead of time. Because if you just dive into there thinking that people is going to take care of you, you're wrong. That's no way to start any job anyways. You're on your own once you start that. But lucky for me, I started off right, and I kept it that way. But being lease purchased with that truck was not easy, but I did it. Anyways, I'm gonna cut this video short. It's close to 30 minutes. See if y'all can remember what I just said, and see if it works out for you.